piece of music which needs no instruments, just the human body. That's how Steve Reich, seen on the right here, described his clapping music, one of many works where the innovative use of rhythm has earned him the accolade America's greatest living composer. Tonight he'll celebrate his 80th birthday with his work Different Trains, played at a railway station in Liverpool. The piece alludes to journeys he made between New York and LA as a child, and his painful awareness that had he lived in Europe, he could well have been transported to the Nazi concentration camps. Played by a string quartet, it features haunting snatches of dialogue from Holocaust survivors. Earlier this week, I went to meet him at the Yamaha Piano Hall. Different Trains is being performed in Liverpool as a sort of birthday event for you. You're a great believer, aren't you, in taking classical music out of the concert hall. Tell me why.
Chuck Berry said, any old way you use it. In other words, there's another slang word we have in the trade, it's called, the music has legs. One great example, when I was 16 years old, my mother felt, every young man and every American should go to Europe for finishing. And I used the occasion to go down to Venice to hear the world premiere of a piece by Stravinsky, who I loved. And before they played Stravinsky, they played these antiphonal choirs by Gabrieli and Schutz. Two brass choirs, so and you think, well, it's got to be in this room. When I got back to the States, this is the 1950s, I said, I want a recording of Gabrieli and Schutz, and I got it and it's in mono, so you get nothing of that. And listen to it, it's beautiful. So good music has legs. It can survive being in a train station, in a piano showroom, in a concert hall.
Does it concern you that so many concert goers these days are elderly? It's quite rare to see, a bunch of young people in a classical music concert, isn't it?
Well, it doesn't concern me because every time my music is played, the audience is usually predominantly young. So I understand why people are worried about the Haydn to Wagner audience diminishing. But I think that we're seeing, and I think you're seeing certainly here in London when you go to the Barbican or you go to the South Bank, a tremendously mixed audience. I mean, you see people my age, and I'm going to be 80, and I like to say, you see blue-haired ladies and you see blue-haired ladies. You hear the blue-haired ladies in their 80s and you see the punks. And that's as it should be.
What is it about your music that managed to sort of transcend generations, do you think?
I don't know, I just work here.
You don't try and do it, it just happens.
No, exactly. If you do try and do that, you fail. I mean, look, I think the answer is this. When I was a kid, when I was 14, the music that convinced me I really wanted to spend my life in music was listening to the Rite of Spring, very quickly listening to the Fifth Brandenburg of Johann Sebastian Bach, and then bebop, Charlie Parker, Miles Davis, and Kenny Clarke. In California, when I was a graduate student, at night I would go to hear John Coltrane. John Coltrane had a huge influence on me. I went to Ghana to study Ghanaian drumming. I studied Balinese gamalan. But the point I'm trying to make is that all those inputs are in what I do. So I'm the kid who's listening on the bar stool to Miles Davis when I'm 14. Cut to Queen Elizabeth Hall, right here in town. It's early 70s. My ensemble's playing. At the end of the ensemble, a guy comes up, long hair, lipstick, says, how do you do? I'm Brian Eno. And I think, poetic justice.
Amazing. Different Trains, at its heart, contrasts your childhood memories of travelling by train in the States with the Holocaust trains.
Right.
When you look now at so many children wounded, killed, displaced in the refugee crisis, whether they're from Syria or parts of Africa, does that too, in your view, demand a musical response?
When I started Different Trains, I was writing about myself. I really had no, philanthropic idea. I'm not a politically motivated composer.
But a lot of your pieces do have some kind of relevance to, historical events, political events.
But they're all. But and I'm being totally selfish here. They're all things which really had to do with my life.
I was just struck by the fact that for your birthday there's going to be 400 performances in 20 countries around the world.
I was struck at that too.
I mean, that's quite awe-inspiring. I suppose it then occurred to me how much conflict and division there is across the world, and that feeling of one man's music bringing together people across the globe. You don't see the power of that? I mean, do you...
It's a good
being too modest?
It's a good story. Make sure you sprinkle a lot of sugar on top.
You're too cynical. Steve Reich, thank you very much.
My pleasure, thank you.